开始。我的英文名字是 Kelsey。今天是春节。So pretty much what I said in Mandarin. And 对不起，我的中文不好. For those of you who speak Mandarin, I said hello everyone. First of all, how are you? I did not say that in Mandarin, but how are you all? Hope you guys are doing safe and well. Essentially, my Chinese name is Mahogany, but my English name is Kelsey. And some of you may know me as Traveling Mahogany. And today we're going to talk about Chinese New Year. So I have studied the Chinese culture more or less the last 6 years. More so less than more. But I've studied the language, Mandarin specifically, for 3 years. I've been to China a few times, and essentially it's one of the most important, if not the most important, Chinese holiday. And I just, went down memory lane and I said, why not bring information and share it with you all? So definitely feel free to learn about it, check it out. There's lots of history and information on Chinese New Year. These are just little snippets and tidbits that I've got from my personal experience as well as research. So feel free to do as much as you like and as much as you please, and let's get it. So what is Chinese New Year? So Chinese New Year is a time pretty much where all the family comes together and celebrate taking out the old and bringing in the new. Now there's many stories as to how Chinese New Year came about, but one of the favorites that I do like is about the story of the monster Nian. Mind you, Chinese New Year is a 2,000+ year old celebration, so that's why you hear a lot of stories, and there's a lot of historical context as time has progressed with traditions and customs of how to celebrate Chinese New Year. So going back to the story of Nian, Nian actually means year in Chinese. So there was a monster named Nian who lived underwater, and once a year, not every so often, he will come and terrorize the villagers. So the villagers would end up leaving, looking for safe havens, places to hide in order to, live the next day after Nian came and stormtrooped the place. So one story, there was a gentleman who came into the town and he ran into an older woman who, pretty much was warning him, you need to leave, don't stay. And during the time, he's also trying to explain to her, well, I am so-and-so, I can do this, what about that? But grandma was like, I gotta go. Like, we're not staying here to see what may or may not work. And so, like the other villagers, she left, but this gentleman ended up staying. As he stayed the night, Nian, no doubt, came up through the streets, and he noticed that the house was decorated in red, as well as a cracking noise. And by the next day, the villagers came back and they realized, oh, like, homeboy's still here. Like, how is he still here? What happened? So he ends up telling them that the color red is one color that scares off the monster, as well as the cracking noise, which was, I believe he was burning bamboo, was a noise that also scared him. So he never came to the house to terrorize this gentleman. And from there on, you hear more and more stories as traditions and things were created about the Chinese New Year celebration. Now, if you're looking back a little bit historically, outside of the myths, I've learned that this was a time where farmers pretty much would go to their ancestors and deities, bring offerings, sometimes, I guess, food or their silver coins or gold coins. They're called ingots, I think that's how you pronounce it. Don't quote me. But they'll bring that as an offering to pray for a bountiful year, good fortune, and great harvest. So as time progressed, it started to become more and more about family reuniting together, and less about really praying to the deities, but they would still pay homage to their ancestors and praying for the good fortune to come as years progressed. So also, one thing you'll hear is that in China, it's not always called Chinese New Year's. It's also called Chunjie, which means spring festival. As you know, it's winter time, but harvest comes earlier on. You start planting for the spring to come. So this was the time that I embarked on the farmers coming to also harvest, as well as the change in the seasons to come. So when is Chinese New Year? So Chinese New Year, unlike our calendar, is based on a lunar calendar, meaning that the dates are set based on the phases of the moon. So the very first day, January 1st, which is our February 12th, is going to be on the first new moon of the year. And the celebration ends and extends all the way to the first full moon of the year. So this means it's a 15-day celebration. I'm low-key jealous because we do not have a 15-day national celebration. So the very first 7 days are when people are off of work. It's a public holiday. People are buying and stocking up food, gifts, clothes, etc., whatnot to bring in the new year. This is when you'll pay off all your debt. You'll also do all your cleaning, because one of the superstitions, I guess you can say, is that on the very first day of the new year, there's no cleaning, there's no sweeping or washing, because if you wash yourself, it's like you're washing away the new fortune, or the fortune that's to come to you. If you're sweeping away the fortune. So you want to make sure your house is spick and span. Honestly, it's also good because it is bringing the new year. Like I said, this is pretty much like Chinese Thanksgiving and our New Year combined into one. So those are the first 7 days. Then on the actual day, the poppin' day of New Year, that's when everyone will come home and you'll have a reunion dinner. You'll exchange your home bow, and then you'll watch the CCTV gala. So I've never seen it, and doing my research, it's really huge. It's kind of like New Year's Eve ball dropping, but like 10,000, because there's celebrations. It's a 4-hour program, I believe. There's celebrations, there's parades, there's dancing, singing, all these different performances, and it's the most viewed, I believe the most viewed TV program in the world. Granted, there's a lot of Chinese people. It's like over 1 billion people, but again, I think other cultures that also celebrate Chinese New Year, or Lunar New Year I should say, also tune in. So any other country that also focuses and uses the lunar calendar also celebrates Lunar New Year. The reason why it's most common in the US as Chinese New Year is because the greatest Asian population of ethnicity or descendants are the Chinese. So that's why we're used to hearing it as Chinese New Year. But in fact, in China, you may not also hear Chinese New Year, you'll also hear 春节, which also means Spring Festival. This is a time, as I said before, you're bringing out the old, getting rid of the old, bringing in the new, also with the seasons changing. It's the end of winter season and everyone's preparing for the new year. Other cultures that celebrate the Lunar New Year or uses the lunar calendar would be South Korea, North Korea, Vietnam. I also think Indonesia. So you'll definitely see a lot of other cultures celebrating New Year, the Lunar New Year. But as I said before, Chinese New Year is the biggest in China because you have this huge celebration. There's an influx of people coming back home. And I mean, why not? If you have 7 days of no work, and then you have until, I think, like mid-February, ending of February, sorry, to celebrate. Come on, it's like a party every day. So the very first full days, as I said before, the first 7 days are just cleaning up, getting things ready. On New Year's Day, which is the Spring Festival day, everyone's eating, celebrating, and then the next few days there's like a schedule. So you'll be meeting with other friends and families. I think one day you meet with your in-laws, the next day you meet with different neighbors and whatnot. And then on the 23rd to the 26th specifically, that's the Lantern Festival. So that's when there's a huge fireworks celebration. Everyone's lanterns are hung everywhere. You release lanterns. So that's something that I'm really excited about because I've never been to a lantern festival. And why not just go to one of the greatest lantern festivals ever? As I've said before, this is the time everyone comes back home. I believe CNN dubbed it the greatest human migration time of the year because everyone is going back to China. So when I say everyone, if your great-great-grandma is still out here popping, best believe great-great-grandma is going to be out there eating and dining and popping too. So this is a time where I believe they said 200 million trips are scheduled this point of year in just mainland China, and then you have the whole Chinese diaspora who are in Singapore, you have Europe, you have the US that'll go back home and celebrate if they are able to. It's very important. And if you're not able to make it, for example, like we're in the pandemic, or there's, you live out of the country, certain circumstances, it is known that family members would leave your a placemat in honor of you to kind of symbolize you also coming back home. So we've talked about the dinner, we've talked about the CCTV gala and whatnot. So let's get a little bit more nitty gritty on what happens. So one of the main cultural things, most important cultural aspects of Chinese culture, let alone New Year, is food. So everything is very symbolic, and I really admire that. So for example, you'll eat dumplings, fish, chicken, all of it is symbolic in terms of what it means in bringing in the new year. So for example, jiaozi, which is dumpling, jiao means exchange, zi means midnight hour. So when you put it together, jiaozi, it's the exchange of the midnight hour, meaning you're exchanging the old into the new. So I believe every day everyone's eating jiaozi. And again, it's also symbolic of what you put in your system, you're giving back, right? What you consume is what you are. What you eat is what you are. And also that's symbolic about it is the shape of it. It's kind of replica of the silver and gold ingots, or the silver gold coins from back in the day. And so wrapping it means, or wrapping the dumplings together means that it's wrapping the fortune, and then eating it is like you're consuming that wealth and that fortune. Another one is changmian, which is noodles. So that means longevity and prosperity. And then you have yu, which is fish, and the same that you pronounce that, it's another translation of surplus. So you eat food because you eat fish, sorry, so you can have that surplus. I think that's like iconic. And so you'll see a lot of these different foods that are staple throughout China, but depending on if you're in the north or in the south, east, west, there'll be different transitions or different variations of the same recipes, but they have a lot of the same meaning. Next, you'll have the character fu, which means fortune. So you'll see them on little red diamonds, again meaning wealth. And sometimes you might see it upside down, and I cannot remember what the word is, but in the Mandarin language, the upside down means like it's arriving. So when you see the food character upside down on the diamond card, it means that fortune is arriving to you. Again, the symbolism is key. One of my very favorite traditions, and I think a lot of Americans that do get to learn about Chinese culture do also like this, is the hongbao, which is the red packet, red envelope. So these are the little envelopes that you'll give to family and friends. Usually it's the elders that give to the younger generations. Employers would give to employees, kind of like a bonus. And as time has progressed, and with the digital age, with WeChat and Alipay, friends would send electronic hongbaos to their friends. So I mean, if you're trying to get this money, just be a good person. So this one in particular is Da Da Ji Li, and there's the ox. So I haven't told you, but this year is the year of the ox. I don't know how I forgot this, but that means there's 12 zodiac signs, and I think one of the myths is they're placed on when, so for example, there's a myth that this emperor was having a huge party. He wanted to invite all the different zodiac animals, and so they were ordered based on how they arrived. So little old ox ran into his rat friend, and they came along, but the rat hopped off and jumped into the party first. So that's how last year was the year of the rat, is the very first zodiac sign, and then the ox came second. But they're hardworking, independent. They let their work speak for themselves. So if you are born in this year, or if you're born in the year of the ox, you have a lot of great independent and driven qualities about you. So on this hongbao, it says Da Da Ji Li, which means Da Da is a lot, means, yeah, huge or big, and then Ji leads like luck and favor, so it's giving you a lot of luck and favor. So you'll see a lot of the kids get these. There's a saying where it says, I'm like speaking in circles. There's a saying, it says, Gong, please forgive me, those who speak Chinese, Mandarin, y'all understand. It's Gong Xi Fa Zai Hong Bao Na Lai. So this is what saying little kids would say. It's like, okay, Happy New Year's, now give me my money, like give me my red envelope. So it's cute and cheeky, but you know, it's passing on that wealth and fortune to the younger generations, and the younger generations can also give to the older generations in terms of granting gratitude and longevity in life. Alright, so a little bit more, we'll talk about the attire. One of the most traditional wears as of late is the qipao, and the qipao is a dress that you'll see the women wear. I do not have one on today, but it's okay. Years ago when my family celebrated Chinese New Year, we were able to buy the qipao or the cheongsam, which is a English derivative of the Cantonese way of saying it, and I'm not sure how to say it in Cantonese, so I'm just gonna say cheongsam. That is another way of saying it. It's pretty much a straight dress that comes up the high neckline with a little bit of beading here, and then a lot of embroidery, and it's beautiful. So you'll see that. Or the men will wear Tang suit. The Tang suit is actually famous from the Tang Empire, which is the long straight jacket with pants, as you can see in the picture. The video cut off, so that's why I had to explain. So one thing I also forgot about the hongbao is that if you are unmarried, married couples can also give you hongbaos in order to wish you good fortune to find your boo thing. Well, I should say your definite boo thing in the new year. Okay, who doesn't need that guaranteed? Get paid to find love. I mean, it's not the actual moral of the story, but I'm not that money hungry, y'all. It's okay. Anyway, another funny thing about Chinese New Year is just like how we'll see in the Hallmark Christmas holiday movies and whatnot. If you are single, people are known to hire or rent out boyfriends and girlfriends. Let me not make it sound like a real transactional thing, but it does happen. So if any of y'all out here single and want to meet family and get some good food, make sure your salary's on deck, your morals on deck, and you good to go. Come on. So essentially, that is what Chinese New Year is about. It's about family, food, celebration, the lion dancing, etc. and whatnot. So I'm just happy to have celebrated this time with you guys. Give you some more insight. If you do want to celebrate Chinese New Year, definitely look at your local Chinese or Chinatown if you have that, or little Chinese cultural stores or shops if they are open. You can get some Chinese food and look up what are some great dishes to have during the Chinese New Year. My family, we ended up making wontons, so more like Americanized Chinese food, just because we don't really know what goes in all Chinese dishes or most Chinese dishes besides the one we get from restaurants. What else? Watch Chinese shows and movies. I do watch a lot of Chinese, some of them are Mandarin, some of them are Taiwanese shows, and they're fun and they're cute to help you with the language, to see their street style. I know Chinese street style and Korean street style are dope. To me, it's Tokyo. I feel like there's a lot of great Asian street style clothing. Anyway, so you can learn about different cultures outside of Chinese New Year. You can also, just like myself, gift hongbao. So I bought a food not only for this presentation, but I've filled them with prayers, because your girl does not have Chinese money, nor do I have the type of money that people put in these things. For example, there is like a little threshold of how much you give depending on how close the relative is to you or the person is to you. Some of them could be up to $100, $150 US. I have lots of family members. We're gonna give prayers. So you can definitely give hongbaos. My teachers gave them to me during Chinese New Year celebrations, and whatnot. And yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this presentation, and stay tuned to the next celebration. But before we go, I'm gonna invite y'all to speak some Mandarin with me. So we're gonna try to butcher it together. I'm just kidding. That's not the intent, but we'll try. And I do have somewhat a talent for adapting languages. So I'll explain what they are, and we'll go through it slowly. So don't feel bad. I've apologized again. 对不起，我们的中文不好. So I apologize to everyone saying that our Chinese is not that good. This is not to set ourselves low, but this is for them to understand we're work in progress. So, hey. So, this is Pengyo, my little teddy bear. Pengyo means friend in Chinese. He's in the way of my cards, so I'm just gonna look over here so I can get my words together. Alright, so the very first word is Hong Bao. So you're gonna say Hong Bao. Hong Bao means red packet. Hong is red, Bao is packet. So Hong Bao is red packet, red envelope. The second one is, oh, I don't have my glasses on. Okay, 春节. I hope I said that right. 春节, that is spring festival. So 春 means spring, 节 festival. The third one I already went with you earlier, and that's 大大吉利. So 大 means a lot, 大大, you say it twice, a lot. Or, well, 大 means big, but you say it twice, it's emphasizing big. 吉利 is luck and favor, so 大大吉利, that is lots of luck. That is one common expression you'll hear around this time of year. The second one, which is my favorite, is 新年快乐, which is Happy New Year. So 新 new 年 year, 快乐 happy. So gonna say it slowly. 新年快乐. And the reason why I'm doing that is to help you know what tonation or what tone the words have, so you can say the correct word. So 新, it's like flat if you are a singer. 新 nian has like a little incline, so 年 快, it's short and sweet. 快乐, 新年快乐. So that's Happy New Year. And last but not least is 万事如意, which means everything goes well as you hope, or well wishing that. How do you even say that? It's everything goes as you wish. That's so much easier to say. So 万事如意, that is. So thank you, 谢谢你们. We have made it to the end. My Pengyo, keep stopping too. We want to say thank you for tuning in and enjoying this Chinese New Year celebration with us. I hope you guys do try some of these things. Let me know. You can follow me at Traveling Mahogany or Soul Kels. And last but not least, 新年快乐! 再见!